All right, it is never a fun time waking up in the middle of the night to learn that your child had a nightmare, but when it happens, all you want to do is be there for them.
Yeah, so joining us to talk this morning about that and why it happens is child psychologist Dr. Sheryl Ziegler. Dr. Ziegler, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, how common are nightmares, especially for little kids?
Yeah, they're actually really common. So I hope that makes people feel at rest. Between the ages of 3 and 10 is when we see sort of nightmares be almost normal. And it makes sense because they have these incredibly creative imaginations. They're being exposed to so many new things in the world. And when we sleep is when we process our emotions.
So I reached out to you and I said, have you ever done a segment on nightmares with kids? Because my son is really suffering with nightmares right now. And all I want to do as a mom is like, let him know that the home is safe and he's safe. But what can parents do to comfort their kids?
Yeah, so let's kind of walk through that. So in your case, you already know he's having nightmares. It seems to be recurrent, as we would call it. So you want to have a ritual before bedtime. And so I don't know if you've tried this already, but having a ritual like you spray certain things in the air, you read certain books about being safe, you have a comfort object with them and that soothes them to help them go down. You let them know like we're gonna keep these special lights on. I'm gonna check on you. Telling kids I'm gonna check on you even every 2 hours, I'm gonna check on you. brings everything down because whatever they're processing right before bed can influence how their sleep goes, how their nightmares are. So have you tried any and all of those things?
No, I mean, I have told him like before you go to bed, don't think of the scary things. Like I said, imagine you're on vacation or it's Christmas or something like that, because I feel like that sets your thoughts up for a good night. Mm-hmm. But he just still, I got to try some of the other things.
Yeah, you could even put on soothing music. I mean, I think that's good advice, like as a thought replacement. So every time you think of something scary, and remember, he might not be thinking about scary things though before bedtime. Maybe he has anticipatory anxiety that he's going to have a nightmare, but a lot of times kids are thinking about pretty awesome things. They're creative in their thoughts. So I think what you want to do is say, listen, even if you have a nightmare, like we can do this, you can do this and handle it. It's in your imagination. It's kind of like a movie. I know it's scary. It'll wake you up. I'll be here for you. But you can handle these emotions.
Now, with adults, sometimes when you have a nightmare, it's indicative of an underlying problem. Like I have stress getting ready for something big at work, or, when you're an older student, maybe it's a big test that you have coming up. With little kids, is it ever something that parents should be looking into of this is happening so often? Do I need to be wondering what else is happening in your life?
Well, I think it's a safe bet to say they're being exposed to something stressful. And something stressful could be everything from a movie or show, and it could also be something's going on at school. So I think it's absolutely something worth exploring, even though it's normal. I just want to ground us all, though. Our dreams are our processing of our emotions and experiences throughout the day, right? Last night I had a dream that I kind of temporarily lost my youngest son, but in my dream, he was around 4 and he was hiding underneath the desk, right? And I have those dreams where I'm thinking while I'm dreaming and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. What are you worried about? What are you worried about losing, right? So they don't have that analytical reasoning yet, but it is indicative of something. But I just want to emphasize the piece though, kids get a lot out of saying like, yeah, I went through a period of time where I had a lot of scary dreams,
for sure.
But like I'm stronger and braver than them. Yeah. And they're just my imagination, right? So don't be too freaked out as a parent. Okay. Professional help comes when they become night terrors, and that's a different story.
Let's help Corey out a little bit more because you're talking about the bedtime routine. What about during the day? Like what can parents do to help kids?
Yeah, I think, kids truly throughout the day are probably at school. So I'm just being realistic that like you tell them to have a great day. You tell them to like, hey, make sure you sit next to the nice kid. Make sure you hang around with people today that make you feel good about you, right? You're setting them up for like, hey, if that one kid's been being mean to you lately, like don't spend time with them, right? Go play with somebody else at, recess. So you can have those reminders, but truly the reason why I'm acting this way is I think parents can get very stressed about it and worried for their kids. And this is part of building our resiliency. This is part of saying, I'm so brave, I conquered things, I can tell the difference between reality and fantasy. And so like, don't be too scared to allow them to experience that. What you want to be as the parent is the safe anchor. I'm here, I am checking on you, I'm here to rub your back and give you your teddy bear and put you back to sleep. Yeah. That's the parent's role.
How do you know the difference between a nightmare and night terror?
Yeah, so night terrors are really when you almost can't wake them up. They're screaming, they're crying. Night terrors are actually very scary. And they're scary because the kid usually has very little memory about them. And they are screaming, they are hysterical, and you almost cannot wake them up. They're in such a deep state. So there is a difference. A nightmare is like, you know, a lot of times they come to you and say, like, I just had a bad dream.
Oh my gosh.
And so, yes, but a night terror is really different. And that happens, it happens to kids. It happens in a much less percentage. But it does happen, and it's very scary. And for that, sometimes we do get professional help. I think for nightmares, a parent can be curious, and a parent can be like safety home base.
Real fast, because we're out of time. When do you get help for a night terror? At what point do you say, okay, this is beyond me?
Yeah, this is when they're not having really memories around it. Their sleep is disturbed. They have a lot of anxiety going to sleep. They're tired and fatigued in the day. That's a good sign to say, let's go get professional help.
I had a real nightmare last night, and it was that I overslept, and I called you at 5:20 in the morning that I slept through the show.
Yes.
That's a nightmare on this shift, let me tell you.
Meanwhile, I had a dream that I woke up, got ready. It did not happen. I
I've
text
done that
Corey and
before.
said, hey girl, I'm on my way, I promise. We made it.
So real,
We
I
made
know.
it.
Well, this is so helpful. I'm going to definitely take it home. I told my son I'm talking with our, child expert, and I'm going to come back with the answers for you.
Oh,
buddy. So This is
good.
so helpful.
He's
Thank
brave
you.
and strong.
Yes, that's
He
right.
is.
Okay. Thank you, Sheryl.
Stick around, because I got a dream I need to talk to you about the commercial break. Thanks, Dr. Z.